Alright everyone, it's Jira Bro back with another video, and today what we're gonna be talking about is going to be the full course on the Confluence administration. So we're gonna be talking about administering the Confluence, of course, from the admin side. First things first, when it comes to creating the spaces, so you have spaces in Confluence. In Jira you have projects, so here you have spaces. As an admin, you create spaces as well. So first of all, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna click on create a space. Now in here you're gonna get some of the templates, and as you can see there are much more templates in here. It is recommended to ask someone who is actually requesting this, would they like to have a template attached to it? So what actually this means, they can look around for each template, or you can actually send them a brief explanation of each template that they can decide on which template do they want to use, or everything is going with the blank template. So this really depends. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go with a blank template, and I'm gonna name my space Jira Bro. I'm gonna go for the additional options, and within the additional options, first of all you have default permissions that you cannot change, and also you have to identify your space with a key. So in Jira you have the project key, and here you have space key. I'm gonna say JBro. I'm gonna click on create a space. And there we go. This is something that we actually have, and this is what you're gonna have by default. So when you have this, it's gonna say Jira Bro Home, and this is what you're going to see when you have the spacing here. Alright, so there's some things in here that could be actually done. So you can actually restrict the pages. How you actually do with the description restriction of the pages. So you actually click on the pencil button, and then you go for restrictions, and here it says that I'm on the free plan, and yeah, I need to upgrade my plan. But the point is, alright, so I can actually update the page and notify the watchers via the email, and this is the version comments, and I can actually do to update this. So I can say, you know, something that is happening with this within this page, I can actually alert everyone on this. So from here, this is actually something different. But then again, working with spaces is actually towards those people. So right now, this is actually my space. This is not a page, alright? This is a space. And of course, within spaces, you have pages, and you have, in quotes, subpages. So what do I mean by this? So if I go to the space settings, so in here, this is the menu that you will spend most of your time when you're actually administering your Confluence space. So first of all, in here you have space details. Okay, within the space details, you can say, well, who is going to be the administrator of this space, right? And as you can see in here, you can actually edit this, and I can say edit space details. And in here, what I can do is, first of all, what I can actually change is going to be the home page. So I can, instead, using this Jira Bro Home, I can create a new page, and then I can link that page to be the home page, right? So you have two statuses: current, that actually is basically being active, and you have archived. So pretty similar when you had it in Jira, when you had an option to actually archive the project or actually delete the project. And what is the difference in here? The difference is when you archive something, it's basically like somewhere in the archive within the files that you can retrieve if you need it. That is the thing. And when you delete the project, first of all, Atlassian is going to ask you zillion times, are you sure that you want to delete the project? And if you say yes, and if you go for delete permanently, there is no turning back here. You cannot restore the deleted project. But of course, there's a caveat in this, because you can install an app that actually has this option to return the permanently deleted projects. But that is not the topic of this video. Let's go back. Alright, there is also an option to edit the sidebar in here. So what is this? So if you wanna, and there is actually a need from a user to limit what other users can actually see within the sidebar. So they're gonna say, I don't want them to see, I don't know, for example, automation or blogs or overview or something like that. I want them to be focused on my work. And I'm gonna say, okay, there's not going to be an overview. And I'm gonna say, okay, there's not gonna be any automation. And once I have done that, as you can see in the real time, the change has happened. Right? So then you have an option to archive the space, and then you have the option to delete the space. And then you have the option to export the space. Now, this is actually pretty useful if you want to do the migration of your Confluence spaces. What actually happens in here? You can also do this in server. So you export in here for this specific case. If you're actually doing the migration of the cloud spaces, what you're doing is you're exporting into XML. So XML is basically being used for the server only, or data center, right? And then the CSV says, well, when you export this in the CSV, you can import it only for the cloud. So this is when you want to do the migration of these spaces as well. All right. So then you have like the content statuses in here. So you can actually add some of the statuses. So this could be this could be edited as well, where you have like free statuses like rough draft, in progress, ready for view. So you can actually go and create it, and you can say in here what color is it going to be. So it gives you more customization options for the statuses, so you can have different status colors. I even saw that there was a feature request that there needs to be more status colors in Jira. Also, you have an option to convert pages. I didn't really use this a lot. And related pages. Let's go back to the space settings in here. So that is for the manage space option, right? Okay. Now, there's some other things in here that I want to be focused more. A lot of time as an admin, remember, you're doing this as an admin. You're not doing this as, you know what, I'm going to try this for free. All right. I'm gonna upgrade this, and I'm gonna say, yeah, start trial. Let's go. All done. I'm good to go. Nice. All right, let's get rid of this space. Okay, so probably didn't see he didn't see my change in here, public links. All right, so it seems like I'm still on the standard plan. All right. Okay, this seems to be a bit of a bug. Right? Okay, let me try. All right, there we go. So this is where you're gonna spend most of your time as someone who is administering this space. First of all, there are two ways you can actually administer this. So first of all, what it says in here, grant permissions to individual users regardless of which groups they are a member of. So what this actually means, that if within a group there's some different permissions, and if you add that individual user that even isn't a part of that group, they can have different permissions versus the ones that they had in their groups. So for example, for myself, for Jira Bro, these are the permissions. And of course, there's some default permissions that you want to apply to the user that you're actually adding. So for me, it says I can view everything. I can delete my own pages. I can delete my own. Now, for pages and whiteboards. Why whiteboards? Because whiteboards is kind of a newer issue that came for the Confluence, and it's similar to Miro, but then again, it adds that collaboration within the team that is focused, of course, on the Confluence. So that's why you have the documentation side, and then you have the whiteboard side, and then you just combine it into one. And in here it says, well, I can add pages, but I cannot archive any of them. Okay? I can delete. What actually this means to delete? So this delete, there is a difference. Delete own and delete. When delete is turned on, I can delete from others users pages. So you want to be really, really careful here. What permissions do you give to users? Now in here, for blogs, I can add and delete them. For comments, I can add, delete them. Attachments, I can add restrictions. I can delete the mail. I can export the space, and I can administer the whole space. Now, I'll tell you, the default permissions that you want to add for your users are like this. You want them to be able to view everything. You want them to be able to delete their own stuff. You want them to be able to add the pages. You don't want them to archive, and you don't want them to delete. So same thing, add blogs, delete no. Comments, yes, delete no. Attachments, yes, delete no. Restrictions, no. Delete mail, no. Space export, no. And admin, no. So those are some default permissions that you add, unless the user says otherwise. All right. Okay. Also, you have guest users. So who are the guest users in here? The guest users within Confluence is something similar to the customer in the Jira Service Management. So they're only there to view things, nothing else. And that should be the only thing that the guest can do. They can only read the pages. They cannot add comments, they cannot change anything, they cannot do any of those things. So it should be like that. Now, they're free, but Atlassian has announced pretty soon the guest users will count as the license for Atlassian Access. Don't know when this is going to happen, but they have announced this. Now, you have anonymous access. What actually this means? This means that anyone in the internet who doesn't have the Confluence can access your Confluence page. Now, this kind of can be actually an interesting thing if you want some external users, coming who don't have the Confluence, never used Confluence before, to actually be able to access your space. But as a best practice, it is not recommended to actually allow the anonymous access. It pretty is, and I strongly recommend you to not turn this on unless you really need to. Alright, let's go back to the space settings once more. What do we have in here? So we have public links, and this is something new. Allow public links in this space. Personally, I didn't use this. Not at all. Now, you can actually do and manage the content. You can reorder the content. And you can say, okay, you can move any content by dragging it to a new position in the tree. They're saying adding it to the new position in the tree. Okay. Let's go to the content. Now let me create a page. I'm gonna say main page, and I'm going to publish it only. Alright, so I'm gonna only publish it. Then I'm gonna create another page, and now what I'm gonna be using here is I'm gonna add a template. So each time when you create a page, you can use some of the templates that can actually really help you out with some of the things. And you even have keyboard shortcuts. So it's much more easier to do some stuff. So I'm gonna ask, alright, so I cannot use the AI anymore. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna say my page. I'm gonna publish it. Alright, let me publish it. Okay, this is what I see now. So what I want to do here, you can drag this under the main page. As you can see right here, main page can be expanded. What is this? This is actually the page tree that you actually have. So this main page, if you can say, it's kind of a main branch, and you have the sub pages between sub pages within this page, right? So that is something that you can do here. And now if I go to the space details, this is the Jira Bro home, right? So I can select something else in here. So I can start to type, and I can say, you know what? I want my home to be how-to articles. And in here, I automatically get it added to my shortcut. And in here, I have how-to articles. I have my page, for example. And you can add how-to article as well. So that is something that is happening in here. Okay, but as you can see, the content is now gone. So this is because you actually set this to be your home page. What happens now? If I go here, I added the space details, I go back here and I'm gonna say Jira Bro Home. I'm gonna go click on save. And when I click on save, it's back. So when you make something your home page that is within your page, it's gonna be gone from here, but it's gonna be added as a shortcut. And as you can see, the how-to articles are staying as a shortcut. So let's go back to Spaces once more. So we have options for archived pages. So I can go here. So right now it's empty, so I don't have anything. Is there any kind of hidden content in here? So nothing. Undefined, really, I haven't used this a lot. Attachments. So click on attachments. Alright, as you can see, there is actually an attachment right here. You can add a label to that attachment and it says attached to Jira Bro, right? And this is basically the image or something.